Cubs grind out another win on the road, this time in 11 innings, and they do it thanks to Nico Hoerner without Seiya Suzuki. We're going to talk about the Cubs win in extras. Now they have a chance to have a winning road trip and a little payback to the Diamondbacks that beat the Cubs last year in extra innings. What a game it was last night, and the Cubs will try to keep it going on the road in Arizona. We're going to talk about all that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, and let's talk some Cubs baseball. All right, there he is. Anthony Pasquale. I'm Mick Gillispie. Two happy guys after another really great win for the Cubs last night. Hang out with us right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Follow us on the socials. But, man, what a great win for the Cubs. They were down in the bottom of the ninth inning, and it looked like it was over, and the boys found a way to tie it and win it.
Yeah, I mean, you can pull up the text receipts. I did call a comeback. We were talking about
You did.
that. I loved what I saw from Nico Hoerner tonight. I mean, we saw it both in the ninth inning, started the rally, came around to score from second base on a wild pitch.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I think JD said it. He looked like Jackie Robinson out there hustling, sliding in safely. And then with the bases loaded in the 11th, he was the guy who delivered the hit opposite field, tomahawk way out of the strike zone, but he got it done. And he finally started to look like his old self. And that was awesome to see. The Cubs offense was super quiet all game long. The pitching was excellent, but you're down to a team that kind of beat you around last year. They're at home. You just want to get this win, and you take the punch. You punch them right back. You grab the lead, and Keegan Thompson closed the door. He was outstanding. The Cubs get a huge win. I don't think we can say how big that win is just for clubhouse morale. I mean, they're such a beat-up team right now,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep grinding out these wins against other really good teams on the road, it means a ton for this clubhouse.
It seems like the injuries are here early, right? Because they are. I mean, you didn't even get one game through the season before you lost your ace. Jameson Taillon never made it to the season, although he's coming back soon. You're dealing with Merriweather out, who was arguably your best or your second best reliever.
Most reliable, at least.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's in that mix. Now Seiya Suzuki's out, and that was a surprise. We jumped on and did a video yesterday. Jesse Rogers is like, Alexander Canario's coming up, and you try to work through what it could be, right? It didn't feel like they were going to release Tauchman. I mean, I know he hasn't really hit, and he didn't hit again last night, but I don't think he has enough at bats where you can be like, hey, this guy, he's letting you down. Obviously Bellinger's off to a slow start. I like his swing though. I watched it closely last night, and I think he's fine. Maybe it could have been Happ. I mean, he's dealt with the hamstring and he's been struggling. The one thing that we didn't want though, of all those scenarios, was Seiya Suzuki, and it ends up being what, an oblique, right? And why are all these guys having these muscle issues, right? I mean, you're talking about like hamstrings and obliques, and it's like, man, I mean, how many can you have?
Right. And I know you talked about, like, when you hear Canario's coming up, you kind of knew it wasn't like a just send down Master Boney type of thing, because if that was the case, you'd bring Patrick Wisdom up. Like, they wanted somebody to take meaningful at bats, and it being an outfielder meant that it had to be one of Happ, Bellinger, or Suzuki, or the possible of Chris Morel. Like, those were the only options. And I think Jesse Rogers tweeted right after that he knew it wasn't Morel and it wasn't Garrett Cooper going down. So that put all eyes on the outfielders. And, you love Happ, you love Bellinger, but Seiya has to be the biggest loss that you could imagine right now. And the thing that's super concerning to me is he missed 6 weeks last year with that same oblique. So that's the part that's super concerning. Obliques are it's only 10-day DL or IL, I should say. It's not 15, it's not 60-day, but those 10-day stints can turn into, 5-6 weeks really quickly with a tricky muscle like that. So hoping he gets back as soon as possible because that offense looked like they needed him desperately last night.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to generate runs. Now, they've been one of the best hitting teams, but without him up, I mean, that's a big deal. Owen Casey, I think, is your best right field option, but I don't think he's ready yet. In AAA, Canario certainly is the guy that's ready. Pete Crow Armstrong, still has work to do. And you guys can, if you're watching this, I don't know if it's out or it's going to be out, but it's coming today. I did, an hour with Tommy Birch of the Des Moines Register, the newspaper that covers the Iowa Cubs, about like options and the players and Casey and Armstrong, PCA aren't ready yet, so you're with Canario and then, maybe Patrick Wisdom, who could be ready. I mean, looking at options now, all of a sudden, having Patrick Wisdom's bat, game like this, hey, maybe he strikes out, but maybe he hits a grand slam,
Yeah, and see, like, that's the thing that I actually tweeted about that last night during the game. I was really frustrated because when they pinch hit Mastroboni, he looked wildly uncompetitive. And then when Magical, his spot in the order came up once he came in for Christopher Morel, he grounded into another double play. And it was like, what's the harm in putting Patrick Wisdom up there where, like, sure, he might look uncompetitive in an at-bat, but at least he's a threat to do damage. And those two guys are not threats offensively at all. And right now, this team seems to need a little bit of offense, especially with Seiya Suzuki going down. But the fact of the matter is they still grinded out the win. And Nico Hoerner was huge in it. I know Happ and Swanson have been struggling. I think Happ's won for his last 26, and Dansby's not too much better in the last 4 or 5 games. And that's your 1-2 right now with Seiya down, just to get to Bellinger, who's still hitting below 200. So that 1-2-3 is not looking awesome right now. But I'll tell you who is looking awesome: Michael Busch.
Yeah.
Another game, another home run.
Man, how many now? 5 straight
5 in
games.
a row. So I saw on the broadcast he joins Hack Wilson, Ryan Sandberg, Sammy Sosa, and Christopher Morel last year as the only guys in franchise history to hit 5 in a row. Nobody has ever hit 6, so keep an eye on that tonight. Maybe he sets the all-time record for the Cubs.
Man, wouldn't that be something?
From a rookie.
I know. And finally getting his chance, too.
Right.
And being kind of overshadowed in L.A., which the Cubs are famous for doing this, too, right? Where you rather go out and buy somebody than promote the guys that you have. But Craig Counsell has just done such a brilliant job of allowing him to play the game every day. He's taken advantage of those opportunities. And I can't believe he's hit 5 home runs. In the last couple games, they have been the reason why the Cubs have either been close or won the game, too. Big home runs.
Yeah, I mean, they've been with the offense practically, like we were just saying, Happ, Swanson, Bellinger, Morel, even everybody's struggling right now except Michael Busch. And when you're winning games 3-2 and 4-2, those solo 2-run homers matter a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And he's been providing you one a day for the last almost week now. So that's been awesome to see from Michael Busch. He hit his first in that first watch party we did a few weeks ago. We got another one coming up this Friday. That'd be awesome if he keeps the streak going all the way up until we get another watch party. Maybe we get the 7th or 8th home run in a row out of him. But he's been everything the Cubs have wanted from him and more. And especially right now, he's been a huge reason that the Cubs are getting some of these wins on this road trip. And like you said, now the road trip, they're 4-3. With 2 games left, a really good chance to come home with a very positive road trip.
Yeah, Ben Brown, great in the start, gave him a chance. This was a contest last night where they were definitely shorthanded on pitching because you don't want to throw Leiter Jr. for a 3rd straight game. You're not going to throw Alzolay for a 3rd straight game. Just not going to happen. That game could have gone 20, and I don't think he's pitching. And Ben Brown just like looked great, right? I mean, just getting it done. And I loved it. And then Keegan Thompson, I told you guys, I said, look, there's better options in the minor leagues than Jose Cuas. And Keegan Thompson has given the Cubs 2 games that are far better than what Cuas was doing, and I'm not saying that I want to bury Cuas and just get it figured out down there, because somebody else goes down, you might need him to come back and get some outs, right? But Keegan Thompson really doing a great job. The pitching, for as banged up as they are and as young as they are, getting it done on Jackie Robinson Day, and nice win. And you were telling me, I can't remember if we were on the air or off before the show, but you said that JD was talking about Nico scoring on that wild pitch to tie the game, and said he reminded him of Jackie Robinson. Pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, you talked about Ben Brown, 6 innings, so he's getting stretched out more and more. I think his first start, he went 4 2/3, maybe finished the 5th, and then when he came in as a piggyback, I think he only got into that 4th inning. So he's getting stretched out, only gave up the 1 run, had really good command. That fastball, that's a dangerous fastball. He
Yeah.
looked really good. And then you get into that bullpen, and I texted you in the game. I was like, are they going to have Leiter Jr. and Alzolay? And obviously the answer was no. So they went Little, Smiley, and Neris before they got to Thompson. Little looked great. Again, he's only had 1 really bad outing so far, which was nice to see. Smiley, you got to throw him in there here and there. Not a great matchup for him, especially late in the game. He did give up a run, but the fact of the matter was the offense wasn't giving you anything. So you can't be too mad. He looked okay. And Neris, 1 walk, but looked pretty good. Probably one of his strongest innings so far this year, just to bridge to Keegan, who was unbelievable. He's got the mustache again. I'm going to say it every time he pitches. That's the reason why he's been so effective. And he's just got his confidence back. He didn't have it at the beginning of last year, and he didn't have it late in 2022. But I'll tell you what, he's got his confidence back, and I think he's going to be a huge part of the Cubs bullpen as the season goes along. And that was really nice to see from Keegan.
Yeah, that was great. So it was Jackie Robinson Day. I'm going to tell you, I love that we honor Jackie Robinson. I can't stand everyone wearing 42 just because I just want to know who the players are. I mean, like, I wish they did like an arm patch or something. Even if it was like, okay, everybody wants to wear 42, but let's put your number on the arm just so we know who you are. And I know the entire story. Love Pee Wee Reese. I get the significance. It's just watching the game with everybody wearing 42. It's like you just can't figure out who the other team is.
Yeah, I think Boog, when they had a pinch runner, he said, can somebody text me and tell me who that is? Because they didn't know. But I love that tradition too. I think obviously Pee Wee Reese said it to Jackie a long time ago, but then Ken Griffey bringing it to the commissioner and saying, why don't we do it? And I think that's awesome. This was the first year I remember that all the teams had a blue 42. Like I was watching the Orioles game last night or early in the afternoon, and they had their orange jerseys with a blue 42, and the Diamondbacks had a blue 42. So I think that was cool. I mean, I don't think you can argue he's the most influential person that has come through our sport. And he's a big reason why a lot of these players are able to play in the big leagues and feel like they can play in the big leagues. So it's awesome that they honor him. And I know when the Cubs get back home on Thursday, they're going to honor him as well. I don't think they wear 42 a second time, but probably maybe the hats with the 42 on them and something before the game. But there's a reason he's the only player that has his number retired across the whole league. And awesome to see them celebrate him every year.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about, before we get into the game tonight, Ken Holtzman, one of the great Cubs left-handers, threw a no-hitter without a strikeout. And I love the story. I've talked to Billy Williams, interviewed him about it before, but he says that the wind was blowing in, and I want to say he said it was Hank Aaron, and he went back in the well, and it was a home run, and then the wind pushed it back, and he caught it. And maybe Ron Santo hit a home run early in the game, and that was it. And the Cubs beat the Braves, and Holtzman came back and threw another no-hitter. So big part of Cubs history. It's just sad to see this, and condolences to all of his teammates, his friends, but most importantly his family.
Yeah, my dad immediately when he heard the news was putting on some highlights and making me watch and educating me on Ken Holtzman, because I never got to see him play, obviously, but he showed me the highlight of Billy Williams in the well making that catch, and it was a crazy play, like a really great adjustment by him. And the other thing he said was, in the middle of his Cubs tenure, he joined the military and got a weekend pass from the military where he would come home and pitch for the Cubs on the weekends and then go back to the like, that's incredible. So not only like a Cubs legend, but also an American hero. So like you said, condolences to the Cubs fans who fell in love with him, and of course his family who mourns his loss. It was classy by the Cubs to put him up on the marquee today. I saw that they did that. And yeah, a couple no hitters as well. I think they said the fourth winningest left-hander in Cubs history. So definitely somebody who will be missed.
All right, let's preview tonight's game.
Yeah, two guys who have been bad this year on the mound. Kyle Hendricks, 0-2 with a 12 ERA against Tommy Henry, who's also been pretty bad so far for Arizona. Hopefully a get-right game for Kyle, especially like, I don't want to hammer the guy, but after an 11-inning game, you really hope your starter can give you 5 or 6 strong innings. So I hope this is a get-right game for Kyle. If not, it's going to really test Craig Counsell in that bullpen tomorrow, and the rest of the week after that. But I'm hoping Kyle gets it right. He's had some success against the Diamondbacks in the past, and hopefully the Cubs bats wake up against Tommy Henry and give Kyle a comfortable lead.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a really important game for Kyle. I mean, you got a 12 ERA, and there's a lot of competition for a spot in the rotation from these young guys, Javier Assad and Ben Brown. And, Jameson Taillon's coming back, probably going to pitch on Thursday at Wrigley. He threw a bullpen yesterday and was fine. I hope that Kyle gets it figured out. And we've seen him figure it out over the years. But, it's like Craig Counsell said, with the stuff that he has, you just can't afford to miss location. That's what's happened to him. And, I think that it's just it's time to sink or swim. And I hope that he swims. And I hope he has a really great outing. But it'll be interesting tonight to see what happens there.
Yeah, I looked at a couple of the Diamondbacks numbers against him, and Kyle's done pretty well against most of the players. The guys to worry about, Jock Peterson, Jace Peterson, and Eugenio Suarez have all had some success against Kyle. I know those are guys we've seen in the division before with the Reds, the Brewers, and Jock's kind of bounced around. But, he's obviously a lefty that sees a soft tossing righty and thinks going over the fence. So those are guys to kind of watch out on, but those aren't like the big name guys on the Diamondbacks anyway. It's not like Christian Walker or Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. So Hendricks has had some success against those guys. So hopefully not too much damage from the D-backs, and the Cubs get more than 3 runs in a ball game for the first time in a little while.
Yeah. Well, check out the video with Tommy Birch of the Des Moines Register. He's going to give you some insight on what's going on in Iowa. That's where they're pulling all of these players from. And we'll be, if something happens, we'll swing on just like we did yesterday when we found out that it was going to be Canario coming up from the minor leagues. But like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and go Cubs.
Fly it.